Okay, hello. My name is Joel Butel. I'm your instructor for micro and macroeconomics at Delta College this semester. I just want to take the opportunity to introduce myself and you can read the introduction section to learn more about me. Definitely read syllabus, but I do want to use this video really to show everyone the key ways to navigate around the website and make sure that we're doing everything good. So I'm going to click on screen share here so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay. And what we're going to do is flip over and we're going to start with how you guys will enter the class. So this will be via Canvas. So let me check to make sure that I am broadcasting the right thing. Yeah, that doesn't work. Let's do this. Okay. Good. So I am showing the right thing. Okay. So this is Canvas. I can't show you the dashboard from the student view, but what I can show you is that normally when you log into your account via Delta, and if you have problems with this, send me an email. I can send you a link to the distance education website for Delta College. On that website, it will give you directions with how to access Canvas, but I'm going to assume that we know this part of it. So you're going to see a list of courses over on the left-hand side. And you'll click on the appropriate course. In this case, you're going to be in micro I'm demonstrating, but also the same rules apply for my macro course. So you'll enter the course, and what you'll see is very limited. You'll see the welcome message, which you might or might not have received in email yesterday or this morning, depends on whether I set it up right. It's very perfunctory. Anytime you want to see the announcements, you can click on the announcements and it'll take you to a list of announcements that have been made, and then you can click on that announcement to expand it. It's pretty straightforward. I keep the view on Canvas very minimalistic with the goal of really focusing you on where you need to find information. So on the left, you'll have announcements. You'll have Piazza. When you first click on Piazza, it's going to give you a thing to register. You put in your name, your email, and your password. You're not required to use Piazza, but it's a good place to go to ask questions. It really is about having a place where if you have homework questions, you can ask a question. Other students can chime in and express interest in that question and try to answer it for you. And then I can come in and say the same exact thing. I won't create an account for a test student, but I was debating doing it. But I prefer questions to come through here that are about homework, things like that. If you have a personal question, please don't use Piazza. Next up on the left-hand side, you'll see grades. For this course, I've disabled calculating final grades. So, but what you can see is the structure of the course. So there's some extra credit. We'll talk about that in a second. The 50% of your grades exams, 10% is from Sapling participation, 15% from the developing understanding components, and 25% from assessments. I'll have to import those. I'm going to import those basically on a cycle of when your exams are. And the scores will show up here. So you'll have a score for these items and anything that shows up. And then totals, as I said, will not be calculated. But if you ever wanted to, I just take the simple average of a category. So if you're looking at your extra credit, I take the simple average of the 3 extra credit assignments to give you extra credit. Exams, there's going to be 3 of them. That will be done normally with a weighted average. I'll tell you the weighting later, but a lot of times I weight the final a little bit more than the other exams. But I do actually vary that based on how people did on the exams, and that does change student by student. My goal is to give you the highest possible grade within reason. So I have a weighting, but I have a weighting for people who improve. That if your first exam is really bad and your second 2 are better, I try to weight the second 2 exams a little bit more than the first one. The participation, developing understanding, whatnot. So you can always view the grades for individual assignments. To calculate the total final grade is a little bit more complex. I don't calculate the final grades for you because up until the very last week of the class, in many instances, you're already in a position where you're, doing the final exam or not could be the difference between 1 to 2 or more letter grades. So for many students, it's just not helpful to have a total calculation because I would put it in zeros for all the assignments you haven't submitted yet. And so most of the semester, you'd see an F and only towards the end would you start seeing anything better. So that's how that works. So everything in this class operates off of the home screen, and then you're just going to scroll down. If you're on a mobile environment, you actually have to click on home, and then you'll see all of these big categories. Start here, the tranche 1. You'll see tranche 2 when it gets added. You have to click on start here to see everything underneath that. So it's a nested menu. I highly recommend using a laptop to access Canvas. The online app for mobile devices leaves a lot to be desired unless you know what you're looking for or you've done it. So at least the first few times, go online through a laptop or a desktop. That way you know what the Canvas shell looks like so you can know what you're looking for. On the right, you'll always have a to-do list. The to-do list tells you items that are coming up as well as things that are coming up from the calendar. Some of these things are things that I'm just asking you to do. When they're coming up and it's under the calendar, that means that it's assigned and graded, for example. So just let you know the difference between the two. So if we start here, you've got the syllabus or the course outline of record. I do ask that you read this for either micro or macro class, depending which course you're in, or both courses. It's going to give you all of the information about the course and what you need to know, when my office hours are, how to get a hold of me. I mean, at the top, I've got my cell phone number. My office is Bud 404. You won't find me there very often. More often than not, I'm actually in Holt 244, or I'm wandering around campus going from meetings to meetings. You can see the textbook. It's important to note the textbook is available through the bookstore. That's the cheapest place I've seen it because you're going to need an access code. The price through the bookstore, I believe, is $85. The price from the website for the publisher is $95. And you will need the access code for the textbook that goes with it for Sapling Plus, which is right here. If you're looking for a short, fairly cheap book that gives you kind of the cliff notes of economics, I recommend Microeconomics as a Second Language, but it's an easy to read kind of quick summary of what you need to know about economics for the course and can be helpful at times. There's some important dates here, and then we go on down, course description objectives. I'll let you guys read this. We have the makeup of the course, how to contact me. Please use the subject line in your emails. That way I know what to search for in case I get a lot of emails and I might misplace you towards the end of the semester at various times. I put in this search into my search bar, this subject line, and that way I'm hopefully capturing everyone who emails me. I also prefer that you contact me for non-private issues from Piazza or from the discussion forums on the Canvas shell. But if it's a personal issue, please email me. Do not post that publicly. Think about whether, remember, if you're posting on Piazza, it's public information. Everyone in class will get it. When you email me, I normally respond within 24 hours, but per policy, I'm allowed to have up to 48 hours. That excludes weekends and holidays, although I do tend to respond oftentimes over even weekends, but just a little caveat. You can also always make an appointment to see me. So more stuff on support services for students with disabilities or who need alternative media support. Here's the course requirements. So it's a fairly simple course this semester. We're going to have 3 exams. They're worth 50% of your exam. I put their open notes. They're going to be timed exams, so you won't necessarily have time to look through for everything, but I realistically can't stop you from using a book or notes, so I'm not going to pretend I can. Since it's an online class and these exams aren't currently going to be proctored. Participation's 10%. That's found on Sapling Plus. The exams, I have not decided. They'll either be on Sapling Plus or they'll be taken through Canvas. I really haven't decided yet. Developing understanding, also on Sapling Plus, and assessments. There are some extra credit assignments, and we'll talk about those in a second. And then we've got the grading scale. At the very end, we have the order of readings for the book, and it tells you when the exams are and things like that. So we go back to the home page, or we could hit the next button. Let's just hit the next since I want to show you what's next in here. So here's an introduction. You can read this. It tells you how to register for Sapling Learning. That also was an email that I sent out this morning to the class. You also have more information on structure of the tranche and things that are due. Anyway, neither here nor there. You can read it. If there's any questions, just let me know. Okay, next up, we've got need help section. You can use Piazza or you can use this. As I said, preferentially, I hope you use Piazza because it's easier to kind of keep track of things, but this form exists as well in case Piazza's down or just as a backup. This is an off-topic conversation area. The only time a students use this in the last few years is to post recipes. So that was kind of interesting. Other than that, in general, people don't use it. But if you want to talk about setting up things that aren't related to homework problems or whatnot, and not course related, just post it here as long as it's appropriate. I'll leave it up. Next up, you have the introduction, and I'm just going to hit back to the home page to show you where I am. So here, these are the first assignments due, and all of these are extra credits. So you have introductions. So to do an introduction, this is what's called a reply. You're going to hit the reply button after me, and then you're going to type out your entry. We already have a few students have entered in introductions. I'll go through and read these as I have time this week. Might or might not make comments on some of them, but go ahead and read about some of your fellow students that are taking the class, and I'm happy to see that quite a few of you have already come on and done that. So next up, so this is the first semester I'm using Krugman and Wells. This is the first semester in a while that I've used a formal textbook that I require for the course. One of the reasons I'm doing this is to make my course more friendly for those who might or might not have disabilities, or with either visually or from a hearing perspective. It's very difficult for me as an independent instructor to support captioning on my own and in a timely fashion, and to provide resources and especially exam questions and homework questions in a way that's fair to those who have disabilities, or at least the majority of disabilities. So I'm using a publisher platform. As I said in my email, this is a little bit of an experiment. I haven't done this in a long time. Normally I write everything myself, and all the homeworks and quizzes are my own. So this time we're going to use Sapling. So in an ideal world, you click on this link, and if everything worked right, it'll take you, if you're registered for Sapling and you stay logged in, it'll take you right to the item that you need to do. And I'll show you what happens if that doesn't work right in a second here. I'm not going to click on it because I've been having problems with the internet connection at campus being a little bit slow. And so, well, I'll show you. I click on it, and then it'll take you here, and then you click on that to get to the website. It just takes a little bit long to load, in my opinion. And so it eventually did load for me this morning, but when I'm at home, it loads fairly instantaneously. As I said, I don't know if that doesn't work. You can always go to the main page of Sapling, and I'll show you what to do that way. But, you know, I'm hoping this makes it easier for you to find information. So when you go to Sapling, after you've registered for the course, you're going to hit a page that says your current courses. For many of you, it's just going to be one class. So I'll click on the micro class since that's the one I'm demoing, but it would look similar for macro with just slightly different content. Okay, and as I said, see, it's taken a little bit longer than I'd like for it to load to start demoing some of these things. You know, I guess I can say thank you, Delta College, right? It's not too happy with how long it's taking. So I'll go back and we'll wait while it loads, is what it is. Not much I can do about that. Delta College's web browsing can be laggy at times. So we'll get to Sapling when that opens up, and you guys can see what's happening. So the course is divided into tranches, which is just a fancy way of saying slices of information. That comes from the financial crisis, where mortgage-backed securities, which were one of the causes of the financial crisis, the misuse of them, divided up home mortgages into tranches, or into slices, to put good home mortgages and mortgage loans with bad ones to make portfolios or bundles of packages that approximated higher rated instruments than they would have on their own. That's a lot of technical way to just fancy way of saying a piece or a slice. So tranche 1 for the course is just the introduction course, and the course is divided into 5 or 6 tranches. It depends on the course. I put up the tranches one at a time. Each tranche lasts anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks at the most. And so they're organized in a similar structure or layout so you can find information. So we start with the study materials. It's going to give you the textbook readings. If there are any extra handouts or readings from the course, they'll appear under here. Next up, we have a link to an alternative website. We'll see how that loads. This is just more information for you. Take it or leave it. If it helps you in understanding, if it helps you in understanding the content of course, once again, it's not loading for me. Hopefully this video is working. But hopefully it helps you with the structure of the course and whatnot. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It cost me something a while back. But you can use that for another source of information if you need more support. This video is going to appear under this heading. Then I'll have instructor videos for many of the sections, and then I'll have links to the, say, INST videos, and then I'll have links to other videos. These videos are not strictly built for this textbook. Over time, I'll be switching over and adding new videos to replace these videos. But the content of economics is fairly structured evenly between the different areas. So it should, there's a lot of overlap and a lot of information to be gleaned. You can use my instructor video to get to my YouTube channel where you can see any of the videos I've hosted in the past as well for more information. Then you have sapling work section, and that's going to occur for every tranche. The sapling work, this, if we click on it, takes us to a page. This page gives us links to all of the participation assignments. There's 4 of them in the first chapter, and the developing understanding, and then also the end of chapter assessments. So let's see if anything's loaded yet. And of course, nothing is loaded. So as I said, we're suffering from slow Delta internet. Yeah, right now the Delta student Wi-Fi is not playing nice. Must be a lot of you out there studying, hopefully. So if I don't get this to work before the end of the video, that's fine. I can come back and do another video later tonight that shows how to do this. So if we hit next, we hit the chapter 2 information, which is going to be due on the 8th of October. I'm asking this semester, if you've taken me before, I'm pretty lenient on due dates. I'm asking you to really target. I mean, if you're 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, that's fine. But really try to get these items done on the appropriate time, especially have them completed by the time of the exam that they're based on. The reason being is since I'm going to have to import grades into the Canvas from Sapling, it's going to be really hard if a bunch of people haven't done the material to get the grades efficiently transferred over from one website to the other. So to the extent you hit it, get all 3 of these groups of chapters material done by the October 8th or 9th, I'll be able to get it that week up and transfer it over. If you're late, then you might not have grades here at Canvas, and that's fine. Eventually, you'll get caught up. If I find it becomes a big problem, I'll send out an email saying this is a problem, and I'll probably start docking points. The examination will open on October the 8th, and you'll see the exam at that time. The course structure is pretty straightforward. So you've got the study materials, then you have the work, and here's where you find your work, and it's all, everything you submit as of this point is going to be on Sapling. So let's see whether we have anything loading, and we're not getting anything loading, so that's not a problem. I can do a video later just on Sapling when I get home and have a better internet connection from my house. So let me stop the sharing of this. And hi, I'm back. So, and I'm probably burning through some bandwidth just broadcasting this in the first place, since this is a live stream. That's probably really not helping me out with getting to show you what's happening on those sites. So The final thing I want to add is I'm your instructor. If you have problems during the semester with the homework on Sapling, and some of it is pretty difficult, and what I want you to know is that the homework is always going to be harder than the exam. The exams will be far easier than anything you see in homework. So if you have problems with the homework and you've tried a few times and you're not quite getting it, that's the perfect time to email me, say, hey, I'm not getting it. I can take over my office hours during the week and I can do a video on how to answer one of the homework questions, for example. So I'm here to help you. The way I help you is hearing from you guys that you're having problems and what you need me to demo for you. With that said, I'm going to give it one more try. You guys are seeing me, but what I'm doing is I'm on my computer trying to get Sapling to load. Oh, and it did load finally. So let me go back to screen sharing and let's give it one more try. Okay. So if we go back, this is what loads after you click on the class. And I'm going to switch my role. Hopefully this doesn't hang it. Okay, this is what you'll see as a student once you're in the class. So the first two assignments, so if everything works on Canvas, you click on the button on Canvas that takes you right to this homework tool. And this is extra credit using the tools of Sapling Plus, but it's a required extra credit. I need you to do this. It's going to show you how to use the website in and of itself and how to answer questions. There's also an extra credit on math review. That's not as required. If you don't feel you need to brush up your math skills before you take this course, go right ahead and don't do it. And then you can see if the links ever don't work from the Canvas webpage. So if you're here and you click on this link and it just takes you and it doesn't want to open, you can always go to Sapling and load up this page and you can do the assignments on Sapling. You don't have to do them just from the link. And so you can see these are the assignments for the first 2 weeks of the class. I'm asking that these are done by next Monday and the next 2 chapters get done by the following Monday, so 2 weeks from now. And as I said, it's let's go through a few of these assignments, see how they're loading. So when you're doing the participation, these are done strictly based on you showing up and doing it. So it's not, we'll see whether it loads, but these are a series of videos and answering questions. They're very, in my opinion, very easy. They're supposed to help you learn. And we'll go back, see where we can open this again. Yes, we can. When you can do these as many times as you need, but literally just you participating and answering the questions and doing it gets you credit for doing it. The developing understanding, this is the section, everything in here you can do as many times as you need as well. When you see these learning curves, you're going to have so many points to obtain to get full credit. Once you open it, it'll be fairly self-explanatory, and we'll see whether it opens. Looks like it actually might be working. But as I said, this internet connection's a little slower than we'd like. So you're going to have questions, and what you're doing will preview as a student. So when you do this, you click the begin activity, and your target is to get 450 points. You start with 0, and you're going to answer questions in order to gain points. So this question's worth 15 points. Human capital is money that belongs to individuals rather than businesses. Well, let's just go with this as false. And that's correct. So now I've earned 15 out of my 450 points. The questions are adaptive. They do what they're going to do. So you can go back and see how you're doing on the sections of chapter 1 and whatnot. So let's get out of this, but that's what all of the learning curves look like. And you just do them. If you get wrong answers, you don't get points. Your goal is to get so many points. In one way, it is a type of participation. In the first chapter, there's no other developing understanding assignments. In the next 2 chapters, there are. You have work it out. This is basically guiding you through graphing and doing graphs, and similar here in answering questions. There are also questions in here, discovering data and news analysis. So the learning curve, you should, if you work on it, get 100%. For the work it outs and the discovering data and the news analysis, each one has its own grading criteria, and you can see that when you open it up and learn about it. For the work it outs, You can try as many, for all of these, you can try as many times as you want. When discovering data or news analysis, every attempt you make does remove some of the points, so you get a point loss for doing it. For the work it out, so you can do them as many times as you need. And then finally, you have the assessment, which are going to be end of chapter problems and homework. And those are as many times as you want to try to get the right answers. So that's a little preview of Sapling. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but if people have specific questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to come on and make a video with more information about Sapling learning for you so that you guys can do the best you can in this class. The last thing I want to say is the way the course is designed, 50% of the grade is exams. The exams are done once and they're timed, and that's where I determine what you've learned. The other 50% of the course is, for the most part, can be for all of the items, you can do as many times as you need. And for most of the assignments, I'm not taking off points when you do it again and again and again. What that means is they're there to help you learn. So use the homework as a way to learn. It's okay to get a wrong answer and try again. The only thing I'm not happy with is don't go in. The goal on the homework isn't to get 100 and not have learned anything, because when you get to the exam, you're not going to get a chance to try the exam again. So the goal in the homework really is to use the homework as a way to further your understanding and to learn the material. That way, when you get to the exams, you know what you're doing, you get a grade, and you're happy. The way the class is designed, if you work hard and you do all of the material, you're going to get a C in the course. As long as you do everything and you turn in the material and you keep doing the homework assignments and the data assignments and the participation, developing understanding, the assessments, and you do them again and again, you're going to get the full credit for that 50% or very close to it, as long as you do everything. So really what determines your final grade in the class is the difference between a C and an A is how you do on the exam. So if you fail all 3 exams and get a 50 and a 50 and a 50, you're going to end up with 75% in the course, thereabouts. If you do better on the exams, then you're going to get a B. And if you do really good on the exams, you're going to get an A. Sorry about that. I have a little bit of cold right now. So I just want to put that out there that, you know, the homework is there. Everything on Sapling is there to prepare you for the exams. I'm trying to make it so that it's not punitive to try again. With that as a caveat, if you find yourself having tried one problem 5, 6 times and you're still getting the wrong answer, it's probably time to send an email or a post on Piazza. I'm not getting this problem, and have myself, or if it's on Piazza, even another student come in and give you hints for how to solve your problem. Once again, have a good day. Thank you for listening to this short broadcast. Any questions asked, I can put up more videos. My phone number's on the syllabus. My email's on the syllabus. I'm here for you guys. I want to see all of you be successful, and hopefully I'll get a chance to meet some of you during this term. Thank you, and have a good day.